What happens to the work of the church if there's no one there to take your place? Will ministry simply phase out? Who will be there to teach our children? In the past 20 years, there's been a steady decline in the enthusiasm for religious education and specifically in preparation for the sacrament of confirmation. Parents and students no longer see this final phase of the initiation process as important and therefore are choosing to skip it altogether or to wait until it's absolutely necessary for reception of the sacrament. When enthusiasm for religious education is in decline, so too is the work of the church. And to rejuvenate this enthusiasm, we have to, one, remind ourselves why the sacrament is important. Two, discover why students are disengaged. And three, create a win-win scenario of a 1 or 2 week biannual intensive program for the sacrament of confirmation. Good evening, and thank you for having me here. For those of you that might not know me, I'm Chrissy Vigil, a former coordinator of youth ministry and coordinator of confirmation preparation in the Archdiocese. Having held these positions for over 20 years, I have seen firsthand the decline in this enthusiasm for religious education, and especially in the sacrament of confirmation. I have seen that students are disengaged. And what I'd like to do today is to help you, number one, understand the importance of the sacrament. Number two, help you see why these students are disengaged. And number three, offer you an idea that will create a situation that would be beneficial not only for the students, but for the parish as well. First, the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops on their website, usccb.org, tells us that the sacrament of confirmation deepens our baptismal call to missionary work, not only in the church, but in our families, in our schools, in our communities, and in the world at large. And they go on to further say that the sacrament is very important because it solidifies the gifts that are already present within the baptized Catholic. So let me explain that a little differently. What that means is, and I use this theory called the chocolate milk theory, we are a glass of milk. At baptism, we receive the gifts that God gives us, and they're kind of settled into us at the bottom. At confirmation, the Holy Spirit comes and stirs those gifts up, bringing them to the surface and helping us to remain engaged in our faith for the rest of our lives. That's the chocolate milk theory. Basically, we're the milk, the gifts are the syrup, and the Holy Spirit and the sacrament of confirmation are the spoon that stirs it all up. If we can create a program that is beneficial to these students, that would help them maintain that spirituality, that rise of the gifts to help them move into action, we will be doing exactly what we are supposed to do for the children of our parish. Looking at why students are disengaged, studies show that this is a trend that is happening at a very fast rate. The National Catholic Reporter, in their blog of September 4th, 2014, written by Jennifer Mertens, gives us insight that students don't see deep substance in what they're being taught, and further, that their religious education is pre-packaged faith. It is further happening here in the Archdiocese because in this diocese we confirm in the junior year of high school. This is the most stringent academic year for any student. It's when colleges take a look at grades and attendance and also at extracurricular activities. So we are competing with this main thing that most students are working toward in high school. And so for parents and students, this academic thing far outweighs any church things that are happening. And therefore, we need to find a way to fix that. So what's happening is this sacramental prep is being pushed to the back burner. And those that do tell us that, or those that are there are telling us that they don't want to be there, or that they just are there because they have to be there. And then we're further compounding the situation with once a week or once a month sessions that fail to have the continuity of the program that is necessary for these students to remain engaged. So our goal, and the goal of every parish, really should be to create a win-win scenario that is beneficial to both the students and the parish. And by creating these 1 or 2 week biannual intensive programs, we can attain these goals and create students that will continue the work of the church. The Wallace Foundation's journal by McCombs et al. Assesses that creating 1 week or 2 week long programs creates a cohesive curriculum experience that is very beneficial to students. So if we provide this cohesive experience, the tenets of the sacrament from the beginning to the end can happen all in this intensive program, and the students will have the continuation and knowledge from beginning to end. Of course, these intensive will adhere to the guidelines set forth by the Archdiocese, and we'll have service projects and retreats. But we're going to go one step further, and we're going to implement online discussions that will hold the students accountable for the work that they're learning and also help them to maintain communication with their classmates. Lastly, by implementing this type of a program, we will rejuvenate enthusiasm for the sacrament. We will create an environment where the students will be engaged and enlivened, and they'll be taught without interruption. And we will continue to create a community of believers that are motivated to move into action, which is what the sacrament calls for. Personally, I don't remember my own confirmation. And it's not because it was a long time ago, but it's because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand the process, and I didn't understand how it was supposed to continue in the rest of my life. Our goal should be for the youth of our parish to remember their confirmation not as a date in time, but as an important part of their lives and a moment in which they were called into action, and a moment in which their relationship with God was solidified. Thank you.